Some businesses struggle when they start to expand on managing their content and social media for all of their locations. They're not really sure if they should just have one account or separate their accounts for all of their locations. This really can be new, uncharted territory. Today, I'm going to be talking about 3 social strategies that may be worth exploring if you're expanding to multiple locations. So, when looking to manage your social media as a business that is operating multiple locations, there's 3 different strategies that you can try. The first is what I call a centralized approach. The centralized approach is when you have one account that you use for all of your locations. On your organic social, you focus on above the line marketing, which is consistent for all of your locations. Your above the line marketing will really be centered around brand awareness and any other key messages that you want to be consistent for each location. So, for example, you can talk about sales that are the same for all your locations, and you can talk about your key brand messaging that you want everyone to know. What's good about this approach is that you have a unified, consistent brand message that reduces confusion. You can then have tailored localized ads running for each individual locations, which allows you to get granular in your targeting. For your paid ads, you can develop a content formula that makes it really easy to produce content for those individual locations. You can focus on a core piece of content on your website that you want to drive traffic to. You can then repurpose that content into smaller snippets that really speak to each location. So let's take the example of a laser hair removal studio. They may want to drive traffic to a page on their website that talks about what to expect at your appointment. You can then use that core piece of content to create short-form video that is engaging on social and drives to that page. You can also tailor your ads to the individual locations you want to drive consumers to. So, for example, you would have a common storyboard that each location uses to film their video. Then you would edit it and schedule it as an ad. This allows each location to showcase their staff, showcase their actual studio, which may differ from place to place, and you'll be able to showcase the differences between locations. However, you won't be able to have a tailored approach on your organic social. People visiting your Toronto laser studio are not going to care about what's happening in New York. So if you post about all of your studios organically, you're going to lose some of that interest, which can repel customers away from your page. So although you're able to get really tailored in your paid campaigns, your organic has to stay the same. The second strategy that you can do is allow all your locations to have autonomy in managing their own social accounts. However, when you give all your locations autonomy, they may post messaging that is confusing and not consistent. This can damage your overall brand perception. You can try to ensure that all posts are approved by corporate before they go live, and make sure to check that all posts meet your brand guidelines. But if you're leaving everything to each location, you're still going to have some discrepancies. It's also going to be harder for each location to come up with content ideas, and that may take up more resources. The last approach you can take is allow each location to have a separate account, but create a common content framework that everyone uses. This allows each location to add their own creative spin on their content, but they're not left wondering what to post, and you can rest assured that every piece of content aligns with your overall brand messaging. The benefit of this strategy is that each location will be better able to resonate with their target audience and showcase their unique quirks that help build relationships with people online. So how do you go about creating this content framework? You, as corporate, would set your overall posting frequencies and topics. You can even go as far as setting specific posting dates for each piece of content. But most importantly, you would provide your locations a list of content ideas and storyboards that they can follow when creating their content. You can take this one step further by bringing in a third party to help shoot all of the content. This also takes away the stress from the locations for filming their content. Then you would review all the content before it goes live and schedule it accordingly. This is probably the most effective strategy to create social accounts that resonate with your target audience, but it can be more cost than the centralized approach. In summary, if you're expanding to multiple locations, there's 3 different types of social strategies that you can try. The first is a centralized approach where you have one account that you use to manage all locations, and you run targeted ads that are specific to each location's audience. The second approach is to allow your locations to have autonomy in running their own social accounts, but this can lead to inconsistent messaging. It also may take more time and resources for each location to come up with content, and it may be confusing for people that are viewing multiple locations' accounts. The last approach is to create an account for each location, but follow a content framework that allows for consistent messaging. This allows each location to better resonate with their ideal clients, but it may take more time and money upfront in developing the strategy. I would say if you're a newer business, start out with option 1, the centralized approach, and as you begin to grow, start building out option number 3. This way, you'll have consistent messaging on all accounts, but you'll also be able to resonate with your target audience. That concludes today's episode. Thank you so much for listening to Your CMO with Emma Morales, the podcast where I'm obsessed with helping you level up your digital marketing. If you liked what you heard, please leave us a positive review to help us reach new listeners. See you next episode.